Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining for Unlocking Synergies with Accounting Systems webinar as part of our 2024 Non-for-Profit Speaker Series. My name is Kristen Jenai, and I'm the Managing Director for Cherry Becker. In this webinar, we will cover how to integrate third-party tools within your accounting department to help improve data and increase efficiency for your staff. I have been working in the ERP and implementation industry for about 12 years now, and I have about over 20 years of experience in accounting. And I will be presenting today along with Beth Johnson, who is a manager. We're going to start today's webinar off with a polling question. How long have you been on your current ERP system? If you could please select an answer, we'll give you about a minute to answer. All right, it looks like 50% of our responses have been on their current ERP over 5 years. This is a great webinar and a great opportunity for you to listen and learn more about how integrations with ERP systems can help broaden some of your data within your systems and also efficiencies across your teams. So looking forward to presenting to you, and it looks like with over 50% having a 5+ year ERP system, some of those will be transitioning and looking for new accounting systems. So this will give you some questions and some things to look for when you're looking for new ERP systems.
Thank you, Kristen. So, hi guys, I just want to talk to you a little bit about what Cherry Becker does with our NFP clients. So we provide services across several NFP verticals, which you can see here on our slide, some of the verticals we work with. One area we find our clients really need assistance and education is with their technology and their processes. So with cloud technology, we're able to guide our clients and allow them to become more efficient and compliant with their requirements. Okay, so what are some of the benefits that we can gain with creating these synergies between accounting and other areas of our organizations? So first of all, collaboration. Bringing some operational data that we're normally going to another system for into our ERP allows for collaboration amongst different teams or departments, and that can lead to more efficient workflows and better outcomes for your organization. Some financial efficiency can also be gained here by optimizing accounting solutions and allow you to reduce your expenses of data entry. You're not compromising quality there. You're actually going to be able to optimize that resource allocation. Increasing accuracy also. So connecting of systems can allow you to maintain accurate data and use the processes to minimize human errors and increase that quality control. We also are able to get seamless reporting. So having a unified data source, that'll allow us to have real-time insights, no matter what system a transaction initiated in. Some automation here. Automating these tasks can gain efficiency, provide consistency and reliability with your data. It also allows the stakeholders, whether it's, owners, CEOs, or budget managers, things like that, of more detailed specific areas to focus more on high value tasks than, data entry or review or consolidating reports together. It also leads to better decision making. So connecting more data in an automated way allows for way more data-driven insights. Centralization, or how our team likes to call it, having one source of truth across multiple platforms, will also allow for ease of access for your team. And they don't have to go to multiple systems to get their data. They're bringing it all together with your accounting and having that one source of truth where they can go to a centralized platform. Allocating time. So synergizing these systems allows you to better manage your priorities, delegate tasks, and focus more on data analysis than data entry. Risk management. Having all this data in real time allows you to really identify risk early and mitigate those effectively, while also being able to continuously monitor those higher risk categories. And stronger compliance as well. Having these systems bringing in real-time data again allows you to be more audit ready through more regular checks. Okay, so how does this work? How do we do this with our accounting system, our ERP system? So that integration is really the process of connecting your ERP with other core business applications and data sources so that you have a powerful unified system and you can manage your essential operations and processes there. ERP systems have several ways that these connections are built. So some of them, as you see here, have marketplace partners. This is where a company or a platform has created a direct connection with that ERP, and you can tap into that and purchase that connection that already exists and is built. Second way is an API integration. Some ERPs have an open API where your development team or a third-party consultant or something could build a connection for you by using the system's open APIs. Next is a file-based integration. So if you can't really get systems to directly talk, you can build files that are able to be extracted from one system and imported into the other. And then lastly, third-party connectors. These are companies who really act as a middleman. They're able to grab data from the source, manipulate and format that data as needed, and then feed it into the ERP or vice versa. Okay, polling question number 2. So with that, how many integrations does your organization currently have with your ERP? And we'll give you about a minute to answer here. So. Awesome, our poll results are back. It looks like about half of you are using 1 to 3 integrations. Some are using 4 to 6, and there's about 10% of you that are integrating 7 or more systems. I bet that's getting some good efficiencies in your team there. Awesome. Okay, so what kinds of data are we, connecting and integrating with our ERP? What's available, what's out there? So there are AP and purchasing systems, AR as well, project management, your CRM, or like an AMS system if you might be a member-driven organization, budgeting and planning if you're doing that in an outside system outside of your accounting. That's definitely something that we have a ton of clients wanting to integrate to their ERP system so that they can do those budgets versus actuals reporting. Bank connections, getting that bank feed of data into the system so you're not having to manually key in transactions as much. Inventory systems, payroll and HCM, expense management for all those expense reports that we get to manage for our employees, and credit card transactions as well for those company cards. So those are some examples of what you can integrate. But I really also wanted to give you guys kind of a case study of something we had done recently to integrate for a client. So they were booking manual payroll journal entries and then doing a second manual process in order to allocate payroll salary dollars spent by the hours that were expended on their timesheets across different projects. So when we started working with this client, we were able to implement a new ERP system for them, and it was able to connect directly to their payroll system. So now their employees are able to enter their timesheets directly in their ERP system. And with that two-way integration, the payroll system reads those timesheets over, and then it can take like their PTO or vacation hours and decrease that in the payroll system, and then calculate the payroll salary and vacation to pay out. It sends the payroll journal entry back over to the ERP. And then we're able to use an allocation module to take that gross pay that comes from our payroll journal entry and split it across the hours worked on that employee's timesheet for that pay period. So doing all that process manually before for this client took them about 3 hours per pay period biweekly, and that equals about 78 hours per year that they have saved. So this process was also consistently a red flag on their audit year after year, but with these synergies here, They're going through their first audit right now, and they were happy and comfortable and ready with their financials at a project level within 20 days of their fiscal year end close. So that was a very exciting way to use a synergized process. With that, we will take a minute to look at our Q&A and see if there are any open questions so far. It looks like Maddie has covered those and there's nothing currently open. So thank you, Maddie, and I will hand the baton over to Chris.
Thank you, Beth. That was a wonderful example that we've recently put in place for one of our clients and one of our relationships. There are several of those, so if you have any questions about integrations or systems that you're currently using, we'll talk about here in the next couple slides. So reasons for utilizing solutions and integrating them beyond your ERP system. There are several reasons why our clients are choosing to integrate their ERP system with other applications. Our clients are finding that systems built around particular solutions have a deeper specialization with an advanced functionality that can alleviate manual processes. Applications and tools that are specializing in processes, for example, accounts payable, invoicing, budgeting and planning, expense management, those individual applications are able to develop and enhance their solution frequently, which allows them to adapt to changes more quickly than a robust ERP system. So we see the industry within those applications is rapidly changing, updates are happening, enhancements are happening on a consistent basis. They're not necessarily waiting for the quarter or the annual update that a much larger ERP system does when they're releasing updates. When users are using these third-party applications or some of the applications that we're integrating with our ERP system or bringing data over into our ERP system, they are continually providing feedback that the systems are more intuitive for users that are outside of the accounting system. So if they have department heads going in and working in a budgeting and planning solution that's coming into the ERP system, the buttons, the screens, the drag and drop functionality is much more pronounced in those applications, which give them a favorable experience when they're having to log into multiple applications to complete their requirements monthly or annually. Once a client integrates additional applications, the reporting and the analytics and the accuracy and the intelligence is increasing within your ERP system. So integrations directly into the general ledger help support your financial reports, things called dashboards, KPIs, data that you're pulling from your ERP system. And those help build more robust data transfers back and forth. So you can bring more information into your general ledger to give your end users, such as department managers or stakeholders within the organization, the capability of drilling down into lower level transactions, but actually seeing what those transactions are tagged to. So that's really important within integrations. And also when you're thinking of applications and integrations with your ERP system, also remember that a lot of these additional systems, such as your CRM, your payroll system, they have a lot more information in them than just the financial data. So there's opportunities to incorporate statistical information or additional details. For example, you could have the number of employees, the number of opportunities, won deals, the number of hours worked for the month, forecasted revenue. So different ways that you could think about data and incorporate those in their system that isn't going to take more manual efforts from individuals within your team. So integrations, I've been doing this for 12 years now, and the conversation of integrations, I feel it's case by case with each client we work with. There's a comfort level that's at completely different ends of the spectrums based on where the organization is at. So there are challenges when talking with organizations and working with organizations and talking about integrations and how to optimize data and make data more efficient. A lot of these challenges are around cost and resources. So we're going to go through and kind of address some of these and talk about a few of these. So cost is around integrations are expensive. You're working with an experienced partner who is familiar with integrations. So whether you're working with a consultant or whether your organization is providing the resources internally, that's a cost that the organization will have to invest in these decisions. There also can be resistance. Some staff can perceive integrations as reducing their job responsibility. If we're saving 100 hours for the payroll team for integrating a payroll entry, you know, what are they going to do with that additional 100 hours? What else are we going to automate and maybe take away responsibilities from their job responsibilities? So this can be intimidating, and some of your staff can show resistance for future planning. So opportunities to really work with the team and the staff to make them feel proud of the project, to have their input and think about the future view of the organization and what drivers they can help contribute to additional reports or where their time can be allocated. That's more focused on the mission of the organization. Also, when sharing data between multiple systems, one thing that is very challenging for organizations to overcome is that there's more opportunities for a break in data security. So again, this goes back to partnering with the right team to ensure that data security is top priority when sending data back and forth between different systems. Also a compliance of what data can come into your ERP system. So it's always great to increase the type of data or increase the information that you're sending into your general ledger to make your reports more robust and drill down capabilities. But we also want to make sure that we're not overlapping data that should not be shared with the rest of the organization. So a couple issues with data security there to consider. And then lastly, kind of coming back around to,
Sorry.
no worries, no worries. Lastly, coming back around to cost, when organizations identify the need for integrations, they need to select the right firm to work with along with the right systems. So you're not only vetting different solutions or third-party applications for their functionality, you're also interviewing vendors so you can select the right partner for your integration plan. It's not very frequently that we have a company or a client that we're working with that has a full integration team within their organization. A lot of them have visionary leaders that want to kick off this project, but might not have all the tools to develop custom integrations or API and coding. So choosing the right partner can be a daunting task and also another resource-intensive part of this planning exercise. All of these challenges, I think, are addressed with making sure you're choosing the right partner that has experience with integrations, mapping out what your plan is, and planning ahead to help alleviate some of these issues that your organizations could face as you continue to your ERP integration strategy. So now we're going to go into our third polling question. Does your organization have the need to develop an ERP integration? So does your organization today currently have systems that aren't connected? Are you working with Salesforce and the data is manually getting put into your ERP system? Is your team, using an expense management such as Bill.com or Concur, where that information is just not easily and readily available within the ERP system? a great response. We've had 352 individuals participate in pool number 3, and it looks like 43% of the organizations on this call today feel like they have an opportunity to develop an ERP integration. So they have data, they have third parties that they're working with where they need to bring that data into the system. So we're going to talk a little bit about why and how to develop that integration strategy next. Okay. So what is an ERP integration strategy? An integration strategy shows the commitment from the organization to develop a comprehensive plan to show that the organization is moving forward. We've always been comfortable with manually having our teams import data, go grab data, manipulate the data in Excel and bring it into our ERP system, reconcile and move forward. I think today it's really important that integration is a step moving forward where we can reallocate our resources to more mission-driven items. So this plan will help detail how the company will connect with other applications in their data centers. What kind of data will be connecting between all of the systems, and what is important to those stakeholders in the organization where the data is captured. The key approach to this strategy is to keep it versatile. These approaches continue to evolve with the business's growth and technology changes, enhancements in other applications. So with the correct strategy and the right team in place, organizations can strengthen the bone of their ERP systems, the backbone of their ERP systems, and increase confidence across the organization so that your data is all consistent no matter what system you're working in, because the information is flowing into the ERP system, into the reports that you're providing. All right, so when we talk about an action plan for developing an ERP integration strategy, we have some key points here that we're going to go over. Gathering your stakeholders from the organization is going to be an important part to understand the opportunities to optimize data, as well as the goals of each stakeholder in each group within the organization. It's a very common practice from the past that teams and departments have worked independently, selecting technology with only their goals in mind. So it's very common that we get a new client approach us, and that client comes to us and either has a list of systems that they are working with. They're not really sure what each system does or how the team uses it, but they know that the department is working with a solution. So they're either saying, can the ERP system do this? Or do we have a system that has more functionality that can be used across the organization and not just one team? How do we collaborate with this team? So this is a culture in your organization that should stay in the past. When looking at new technology and having these conversations and beginning this integration strategy, you really need to have everybody's goals in mind. You really need to have the organization's goals in mind and really truly understand what's important to the story of your organization and the mission of your organization. The second part is of this phase and gathering all this information is to actually analyze the current systems and processes. There's going to be pros and cons to the current systems that are in place. We need to truly understand what is working within those systems and what is broken within those systems. The solutions and mapping those out and starting this process, you can help inquire about the capabilities to integrate and the abilities to connect, and what financial and statistical data is housed within each of these applications. After collecting the data in step 1, you should have a clear path to identify opportunities where you can enhance efficiencies and align data to the organization's overall goals. So you've recognized opportunities where the systems may not be fully functional, or where a system is having difficulty, or a system that can't integrate with your current ERP system. So you're creating those opportunities of where you can enhance the goals across your organization from the technology stack that your organization is using. Next, it's very important to map out the integration, create an integration map. The integration map can have the current systems that you're currently using, identify those systems, create a key within your map that shows you how to identify the systems that are silo systems, that are independent for one department, aren't integrated with anything, but they are, serving a purpose. Identify those solutions and start looking and seeing if there's ways to optimize and find solutions that you can merge together with different teams, or that you can invite different teams into the silo system so that they can find benefit and find information as well. And including your accounting team. There may be information in these silo systems that your accounting team has no idea that the information is out there. And you have stakeholders asking for it, board members asking for it, and it's right at your fingertips. You just didn't know it was available there. That's why it's important to do a thorough analysis of what systems are currently being used at your organization. This allows you, once you have these gathered, it allows you to revisit and select enhanced systems that increase collaboration within the organization and your ERP system. So this is going to provide you opportunities where you can make a choice with the direct teams involved, with a system that has multiple faucets of data, that has more opportunity, more functionality, where you can pull and increase the amount of reporting that you're providing to your stakeholders. With bringing more details and improving these integrations and improving these systems, we're going to be able to expand the financial data and the financial information from KPIs and dashboards and self-service reports that we're providing to our departments. So again, this is another opportunity throughout this project where you're saving time for your finance team and your accounting team to provide the additional details to the report holders who are asking questions or trying to dive into the reports and looking at variances. The more information we can put behind the scenes in those reports, and the more hand action items that we can have them where they can drill down, is going to enable them to find out their own answers and research their own questions. The opportunity here is really just to reduce and enable your stakeholders and management to access these details. When we're looking at step 3 and we are creating a key of systems that can be eliminated, we're going to be looking at redundancy, lack of collaboration, inefficient processes, and we're going to replace them with cloud-based systems, full integration capabilities, and this is moving your organization forward. We're going to implement the newly selected systems, begin the integration, and always include an experienced developer for your firm as you begin this project. The most important step to continue to work on this project, as mentioned before, is reviewing the data, optimizing the data as your organization needs changed. Okay, any questions, any Q&A that is available, Beth, that we should address before we move on?
Not so far. Oh, wait, yes, we do. How do I get started if our organization is exploring new technologies? It's sometimes overwhelming to take that leap.
So I think the first step is to research firms that have been doing this, reach out to your contact and talk about what resources they have available to you. Let them share and give you some guidance at the beginning of your project. They may align and work with you through the whole project, but this is absolutely an overwhelming opportunity for your organization. And we do see several organizations that don't get it right the first time. So by being thorough and being very diligent when starting this project and including resources from your organization to make sure everybody's goals in mind, I think that's where you will really optimize and reduce some of the stress or some of the concern about bringing a successful project.
Okay. How can we identify areas where our current system can be improved?
I think working and listening to your teams, again, it goes back to a team effort. I think working with the teams and understanding what information they're not getting from their financial report, what information they're trying to manipulate in an Excel document. I think those are great areas to start where you can explore opportunities of data inconsistencies or lack of collaboration.
And we'll go with one more for now. What are the most common mistakes businesses make when using their accounting systems?
I think it just depends on the organization and their kind of their culture coming into working with us, where we can see issues or concerns. So organizations will purchase a new ERP system and vision that everything should be done within an ERP system and try to make everything fit into the box of the ERP system. Each ERP system has modules that are more sophisticated than others, has opportunities or improvements over one and another, but not every module in each ERP system has the flexibility and the capabilities to complete all of the workflows or all of the processes that your organization needs to have followed in order to be compliant or, have checks and balances in place. So I think entering your ERP solution with a very closed mind and not being open to talk about other third-party applications, I think that's a big area where we do see clients who potentially made a mistake or have overcomplicated their ERP system when they could have used a third-party system and integrated that third-party system and keeping their data how it should be managed within the system.
We have a couple more coming through, but I think we can go ahead with the slides and then grab them all at the end in our Q&A section. All right.
So we're going to jump ahead here and we're going to look at mapping your strategy. So as you've heard, mapping your solutions out and understanding the business processes are going to allow you to expand the opportunities for your organization to increase efficiencies, reduce redundant processes, and to help optimize the data that you have available. Not all organizations use other solutions, but on this slide, I've shared some common solutions that we hear from our clients. Working with clients, we're able to work through their business processes and workflows and make recommendations for each client. In some instances, we find opportunities to collaborate process solutions within their ERP system within a new ERP system. In other cases, we are about to expand and we share the ability to expand functionalities by recommending an additional system. These are not a one-size-fits-all approach. However, working with the right partner in organizations like yours, the right partner can help map your future and help automate your future. So let's jump ahead to our final Q&A questions, and then we will look at our polling questions. Go ahead and answer the polling question here. Would you like our team to reach out to discuss some of the topics we covered in today's webinar? let us know, and we will reach out and have a conversation with your organization about getting started or some of your concerns. And while you're answering this pooling question, we will look at a Q&A question.
Right. How are these strategies paid for, especially as a nonprofit?
So I think we've seen a lot of grants coming into our different types of non-for-profits that have included technology as an enhancement or as a process. So I think that's an opportunity where you can look and see where that is available. I also think that planning with your board and planning with your management team of where you can reduce hours on different processes and different functionality. You don't necessarily, we don't ever approach these as a reducing staff type of scenario. It's definitely the capability of reallocating staff's time. I think a lot of the non-for-profits that we work with, we see that all of the staff is working beyond their 40-hour work week. They're always at a capacity where they have another position open or where they're looking to open, fill another position. So this could potentially save you from creating another position or adding another position in your AP team, but allow you to reallocate the resources that you do have. So I think the financial capability is there. It's just, again, it's the future vision. It's realizing your return on making this investment for your organization work.
All right. Next question is, what position would this person hold? And I believe that question came from when we were talking about like mapping out these strategies in the ERP integrations.
That is, that's a great question as well. And I think it just depends on the client that we're working with. I mean, the broad range of clients that we work with, some will approach with this project already in mind. So they have a visionary within their IT department who has, experience with integrations or understands that they just joined an organization that has 45 different applications, I think, that each team is using, and none of them are working together. So they know that they have multiple systems delivering the same functionality that the teams have kind of went out and branched out and subscribed to or absorbed on their own. So I think IT is a great team to start with if they have that understanding and that vision. But even if you don't have a full IT department, I think that this is something that can be initiated with all of the directors and the managers across your organization, because not having data synchronized and not having data integrated is a frustration for a lot of department heads. It almost has in the past reduced the confidence within the accounting team because data in one system is not matching data in another system. So like Beth mentioned earlier, one truth across the organization. So it's really important to increase that data integrity. So I think even if you don't have an IT department, involving your leaders within your organization, knowing you have to start somewhere is a great way to begin this process and to hold a team accountable.
Awesome. All right. Since we're a nonprofit, we receive a lot of grant funding. How can we decide what type of systems or integrations would be efficient for tracking that information?
Absolutely. So a lot of our clients that are doing grant funding start with their ERP system. It's usually as their grants increase is how they kind of evolve from maybe a more out of the box solution or a less sophisticated system or solution. And now their grants have increased to the level where they're having to report more frequently, provide financial information, complete quarterly reviews, or even have dashboards for the grantors so they can come in and see the monthly activity. They can understand the payroll, the hourly allocation within the system. So I think when the Excel documents get out of hand, when you are doing everything by hand and your system is incapable of creating the reports that you're required to report on, is the time where you need to have the conversations of, do we have enough data in our system? Are we being efficient while we're reporting on this data? I mean, a lot of grants want you to maintain a certain threshold or a certain level of overhead. So the more you have to do in Excel and the more you have to manually do, your organization is paying for the administration of that grant. So the efficient processes and improvement can help get that refunded or get that funded by a grant based on how you respond and are able to provide them information.
Absolutely. All right. How can I ensure our system is compatible with other business softwares?
Talking with your provider, normally you have an implementation team, or searching your system in Marketplace is just a great way to start. So if you search QuickBooks Online Marketplace, there's a lot of connectors out there. There's a lot of systems that already have an integration. It will show you the transparency of all the information that is connecting with both systems, and what information you can obtain from that and what it supports. If you search Sage Intact Marketplace, Uninet has a marketplace, you have tons of opportunities where you can just look at collaboration tools and things that have already been developed to see what capability it has. Beth did share a slide earlier that talked about the different type of connectors that could be out there. So we have marketplace partners, we have APIs, which are customized with systems that have open API applications. We have connectors. So even if you're using a system that doesn't have the pre-built integration, there are still different ways we can talk about integrating that information and getting that in there without your team having to manipulate those import files or those Excel files.
Awesome. Could you provide a case study or two where you have helped with resources or recommending systems?
We can absolutely share a case study with you when we share the slides. I think we have a couple that we recently did this year. We worked with a large non-for-profit that was just an amazing opportunity for us. And the first conversation with them, we looked at an integration strategy plan or a mapping of all the systems that were in place. Hardly any of them had any integrations into their accounting system, less collaborations with other systems, that they were all containing several of the same data points in the multiple systems that were at place. So when this client came to us, they did have an IT team that was working internally with them. So they had a vision and they knew that they needed to reduce the number of systems that their organization was using. They needed to focus on the systems that had collaboration or integration points, and they needed to really look and talk to the teams and have them enable them to collaborate together to choose the right system rather than having 3 CRMs in place or rather than having multiple processors in place for credit card processing or online ordering. So e-commerce systems, a lot of non-for-profits have e-commerce systems, and they have different educational and maybe seminars and webinars and conventions that they're setting up. So then multiple of these e-commerce systems or ordering systems come in place. So I think we can share a great case study with you that will help you understand how we started with this process. And it will actually show you how Cherry Beckert and, worked with this organization to help them decide which systems to move forward with and find an ERP system that would work with most of their systems in place, regardless of what their teams have chosen.
Absolutely.
Any additional questions, Beth? That was a lot of questions for this webinar. It's great participation. I'm super excited.
No, I think you pretty much answered the last question with that one. It says, what can Cherry Beckert do to help our organization?
So Cherry Beckert has a great, robust team to work with ERP systems, multiple ERP systems. We also have a team in digital advisory that has knowledge in doing mapping and data strategy plans. So along with a solid accounting team or experience that we can bring to you. So I think that we are very well-rounded when it comes and we talk about these processes and the plan of moving forward.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining the call today. This concludes our webinar for today. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me at any time. Our next non-for-profit webinar will be on Wednesday, November 13th at 1 o'clock. It is over the key factors to consider when selecting and implementing an ERP system. And I'm sure the integration capabilities is one of the topics that they'll cover there. We value your feedback and we ask that you all take part in the short survey at the end of this presentation, which will appear as soon as you leave the session. And just a reminder, the recordings will be available in about a week. So we really appreciate everyone's time. Thank you everyone for joining.
Yes, thank you so much, Kristen. Thank you, Beth. I can't leave a not-for-profit session without a couple dad jokes. So if we still have a few people on here, ladies, I have some questions for you. How do you fix a broken pumpkin? Any ideas? Anyone in the chat? Let's see if anybody can get this. A pumpkin patch. Okay, good job. Yeah, we have a few people who got that.
Nice.
One more for you as well. Since we're on the pumpkin theme, why did the pumpkin lose in the boxing match? This one you really have to think about. It's kind of a play on words, a little bit punny. Oh, some people, no idea. Oh, I can see the wheels turning. Okay, I'll help you guys out. He let his gourd down.
Nice.
So there we go. Go get your pumpkins. Kristen, Beth, thank you guys so much. We look forward to the next not-for-profit speaker series and have a great rest of your Wednesday. Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thank you.